Hey everyone, this is Julie. I am in this video going to walk you through my thought process of how I go about collecting and cleaning census data. This is just going to be complete stream of consciousness, so you can hear my reasoning and just what I'm thinking. So in keeping with that, I promise no professionalism and lots of ums and ahs and awkward pauses. So having been forewarned, let's get started. So what I like to use is NHGIS. By umbums, I do not want to see results closer to me. Ibums? Ibums? Alright, let's log in. If you don't already have an account, I can't talk and type at the same time. You will have to make one. That's not my password. Let's try that again. I do not. Okay, so first off, we are just going to go to Get Data. For your assignment, we are doing things at the county level. So we're going to select geographic levels, come here to county, hit plus. Let's make this bigger so I can see it. And years, let's do our most recent years. Okay, we have 1,100 tables, almost 1,200. So you'll see the data set over here. This is what you'll probably want, the ACS. That's the American Community Survey. That's done by the Census Bureau, and it's done every year, as opposed to the decennial census, which tries to count everyone. This one is done from just a sample, so you have to consider margins of error and all of those things. So let's choose 5 tables. What best way to figure out which ones are most useful is to sort here by population. Don't choose total population as one of yours, because that's going to be included on any of them. So let's median household income. That sounds interesting. And you can click on these and see what it's going to show you. This one's only going to have one column, just median household income. We're going to select race too. Let's see what's going to be in there. All right, so we got 10 variables, one of which is total population, which is one of the reasons why you don't want to select that table as one of your 5. Let's do sex by age. That one's an obnoxious one. It has 49 variables, so we're gonna have to do some cleanup with that. So sorry about that. All right, how many do I got? 3. Employment status. Let's do that one. Let's do occupancy status. That's not many. Okay, so we have 5 tables. We also need some GIS data to link that to. So you're also going to get a GIS file. Hit plus on that. All right, so we've got 5 source tables, 1 GIS file. Continue. And continue again. Okay, you definitely want to include additional descriptive header row, because it's going to give you a bunch of meaningless A1-7 whatever as column headers, and that's not very helpful. Combine them into a single data file so you don't have to do that later. And let's hit submit. You'll want to do a description, but I don't know who I'm making this video for. It could be any number of classes, so let's just leave it blank. Submit. All right, this is going to take a minute, obviously. So grab some coffee and we'll be back. Okay, so we have our tables and we have our GIS files. Let's go ahead and just download both of these. download that? It did. Okay, so that probably went into the downloads folder. Do not save here. Okay, let's look first at our CSV files. Those are our spreadsheets. To extract them all. Sure, let's extract them here. Okay, so we get two things here. We get a CSV file and our code book, which will be very interesting. We'll look at that in a minute. Let's look at this first. I don't know why. I have no idea what this program is it wants to open it in. These are the computer lab computers. So we're going to open with Excel. No, we don't want to. Let's keep the leading zeros. Don't convert. Okay, here's our spreadsheet. It is enormous. So, we'll come back to this. Now we're going to look at our code book. This will be very, very helpful for you. As you saw with here's a fun trick. Click on that. If you double click on the resize, any of the resizes, and double click on it, it does that for you, which I really appreciate. So anyway, so we have all of these in all of these headings that don't mean anything to us, but here is where it will show you what all of those headings are. So first, those are our tables. So they're what we grabbed. At this point, I'm going to switch over to my iPad so I can color on things. So we'll be back. Okay, so here's the codebook. Wanted to do it on my iPad so I can color on it. Okay, first thing I want to draw your attention to are the data types here. As I said, the American Community Survey is just done by sampling. This is only years between the decennial censuses. So they're only going to give you estimates, and with that, margins of error. So you can, for all you statisticians that want to know that sort of thing, that is all going to be on your spreadsheet. These are our 5 tables. Look at all of this. Most of these are going to be blank, so you'll just delete these columns. Do not delete the GIS join match code. You're going to need that, but most of the rest of these you're going to just delete. Okay, first thing, we have sex by age, and look at this. They have it broken out into so many categories. So I don't need this much granularity. So I want, let's see, I'm going to make some decisions here. I think I will keep male under 5 years old. Let's do 5 to 18. We'll say those are our minors. A pretty common one is 18 to 24, at college age. Then after that, probably we'll do just 10-year increments all the way down. They have them broken into male and female. I'm not as concerned with that, so I'm going to have to combine, male 20 and 20 to 24. I'm going to have to combine those. So that's going to be tedious, and we will get to it. So you want to go through the code book and think about what you want to be mapping, what data you want to keep, what you want to combine, or what have you. Race is pretty self-explanatory. These two are kind of interesting, and we'll look at that when we get to the get to our spreadsheet. Median household income is just going to be one column because it just has one variable. Employment status, that's pretty self-explanatory. And occupancy status, that's how many units are occupied, housing units. Okay, so now we're down in the margins of error, and we don't need this. Just get rid of it. Okay, so that is our code book. Main reason to get in here is to decide on your categories. All right, I'll see you back on the PC. Okay, here we are back on the PC. This is a computer lab computer. It wants to open this in a weird program. So we're going to open with, here is our data. Don't convert. All right, first thing I want to do is I do want to save this as an Excel file, not just in a CSV. So we're going to change this to an Excel workbook. Let's name it ACS 2022. And I do want to have it as an Excel file because I use colors and things to help myself keep track of what's going on, and you can't do that with a CSV. Okay, so we have a lot of empty stuff. One of my favorite things is to delete stuff to make this smaller and more manageable. So let's look at our stuff here. Region code and division code are apparently not a thing. They're blank. We're going to delete them. County, all of these are blank. County subdivision, all of these things are blank. All right, let's get rid of those. All right, when you're deleting stuff, do not delete the GIS join code. Need that. We're gonna need that. Make sure you keep it. Oh, got two more blank ones. Now let's look at other things. It looks like we have duplicate information of state information. We have AL, we have Alabama, and the state code, which Alabama is 1, I think Alaska is 2, yeah, so yeah, we don't need all of those. So I'm gonna delete that. I like having the full name, but you don't have to. Let's hang on to the county. We don't need the county code. And we don't need these either, Census Geographic Area Identifier or the tiger shape file. We don't need those. And we don't need the county names twice. All right, now you see that these are estimates because this is, again, the American Community Survey and is sampling. They want to make sure that you know that they are estimating things. But that also means that the second half of your spreadsheet are the margins of error, which you don't need. Let's go find margins. All right, let's delete all of those. I appreciate having as little extra stuff as possible. Okay, and one last thing to make this a little easier to look at. We don't need it to say estimates. I like to just get rid of those. You can do that by doing find and replace. Typing in estimates, colon, space, leaving replace with blank. Replace all. Excellent. All 70 are gone. Okay. All right, we're gonna leave the sex by age for a minute because that's gonna be a mess and really annoying. So let's go way. All right. Here we are. This is race. Let's not do that. I am remoting into this, and my keyboard shortcuts on my Mac do not work on the PC. So I will be making really strange mistakes. Why are you not working? Okay. So let's just give us a little separator there. All right, total. If we were to look at our code book, we'd know that total means the total population. Population. Did I spell that right? Population. It doesn't look right. Okay. So one advantage of using Excel is that it lets you look at your data pretty closely. And I'll show you what I mean. So our first county here, we see that the population is 58,761. So you would think that if we were to add up all of these different races, the counts, that would come up to 58,761. So Excel, very kindly, if you highlight more than one cell, down here, it will give you the sum of what you're looking at. So let's remember 58,000. Let's look at that. Okay, so all of that added up adds up to 61,000, and that is not right. That's not what we expect. Last time I made this video, I kept including income. We don't want that. Once again with the... Okay, so yeah, why is that? Let's highlight it again. 61,241. Let's grab our calculator and see what the difference is and see what that might be. So 61241 minus 58,761. All right, 2,480 we have too many of, or have been counted twice. So I already know the answer, so I won't keep you in suspense. But what I would do, I would look for that number. And so I see that 2 or more races has actually been counted twice. So we have 2 or more races, and then they broke them out into including some other race and excluding some other race, which is interesting. I'm not sure why they decided to do that, but I don't need to know that. So let's just get rid of those. I'll probably lose my black line. I did. All right, let's add these up again. All right, now we have it down. Okay, good. So that's something to look at. That comes up here too for our labor force. Let's make those. Sorry if this is boring. It'll be even more boring when you do it yourself. That's not true. I really enjoy this. So here, this is interesting. That's also, we have a total again. That's not the 57,000 that we expected. And if I were to go back and look at my code book, I'd find out that when they're counting the labor force, they only count people 16 years and over. So let's age 16 plus, just so we know what we're looking at here. Okay, so 47,000 teenagers and up. Let's add those together. All right, that is 102,000. That is more than we expect. So let's look at this a little bit. I know this is kind of tedious, but you do want to know what they're counting. So when you go to calculate rates and percentages, you know what you're dividing by and why. So I'm gonna give you a hint. In labor force and not in the labor force, Oh. Hmm. Control? Aha, that does work. Okay, so these are the two things that add up to our total. So what is all of this? What does this add up to? Okay, yeah, yeah, see, this is interesting. Okay, I have to figure this out. In the labor force, unemployed. So these two look like they add up to, in the civilian labor force, 27,163. Yeah, so that's what those add up to. I imagine in the civilian labor force, in the armed forces labor force, and not in the labor force, that adds up to the 47,000. So take a good look at this and figure out what it's talking about. So we're here. Let's look at at this point you can do your calculations in Excel if you're a really confident user, or you can do them in ArcGIS Pro if you're not, which is probably, I find it more tedious, but it's probably, it's 6 in one, half dozen in the other. So before we go, we do need to do a little bit of cleanup. A little bit more cleanup. Before we import this into ArcGIS Pro, we need to change these column headers. They're going to be called field names when we get into ArcGIS. So first off, if we were to look at our code book, we'd find out that this was population. And I don't want to have to go through and change all of these, so I'm going to show you a little trick. Field names in ArcGIS can be up to 64 characters, I believe, and they can only include letters and underscores. So you'll need to make sure that you adhere to those rules. But this will make our lives a little easier. I'm going to replace all of the colons with underscores. Replace all. And I'm going to replace all of the spaces with underscores. Okay, so let's make the second row, we're just going to delete this. All right, let's see what that did. Got all of our female, male, females. Okay, so this is total population again. We don't need this twice, so I'm going to delete it. Those are okay. That's too much. Let's just say median household income. Let's make this, we already established that it's 16 plus. Employed. All right, and this is housing units. Okay, so that will make ArcGIS happier. And I want to impress upon you that it was very important for me to delete that second row. If when you bring a spreadsheet or a table into ArcGIS, if there is anything but numbers in the second line, then it will automatically convert everything to text. But we want numbers, so you can only have your first row be text. We're gonna change this to GIS join. Okay, I think we can save this, and we will head over to ArcGIS Pro. Okay, so I moved my shapefile. We need to go back to that. I moved those things out of my downloads folder, which everyone should, at least when you're, anyway. So here's the other file that we downloaded. That was the GIS file, and as you can see, it is zipped. We must unzip it. Sure, we will extract it here. And for whatever reason, I have no idea, it's so strange, you have to unzip another one. So don't let that trip you up. I don't know what they're doing. It's kind of silly. Okay, so let's get it doesn't matter. We'll be able to find it. All right, here we go. Here's the big change. Do Pro. We're gonna wait for it to open. Okay, we're gonna do a new project. We are going to call it cleaning data. And let's put it in here where the other things are. Okay, so we need to get our things in here that we made. So we will add our folder. Just my cleaning data folder. Okay. We're going to go over here to catalog and to folders. All right. First off, we need to grab this table, chuck that in here, and we need our shapefile that's in a whole bunch of folders. Ta-da! All right, we're going to turn that off because it takes too long to load. Okay, now we need to join this table to this shapefile. I'm sure you all know how to do this, but I'll do it in front of you anyway because I have to. I'm going to add a join. Input table is the county. GIS join. That's why we kept that field. Hit OK. All right, let's see if it worked. We're going to look at the attribute table. And let's just go to the fields view and see what we got here. Yep, there's all of our stuff. It is currently joined, and as you know, joins are temporary. You need to create a new layer to be able to keep this. So we are going to export features. Let's call it ACS 2022 county. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to put that somewhere else. I want to put that here. All right, let's close these. All right, let's check out this table. And its fields view. All right, there's all of the things. That is a lot of stuff. All right, you guys ready? We are going to start calculating. Let's get rid of this because we don't need it. We don't need this either. Okay, here we go. So first thing, let's just start with male. We want to, the thing with this is that you need derived data, which is, right now we have raw totals, but that's not very helpful if we want to compare apples to apples, say the percent of males in Latah County versus Benawah County. So we have to do some derived data, and that means we have to do some calculating. So we're going to create a new field. We're going to call it male percent. And hopefully you remember your data types. But just as a quick little review, short means a short integer, integer being something without decimals. Long is a long integer. Float is a number that has decimal places, and double is one that has a lot of decimal places, and the other ones are other things, but we need float. And let's go ahead and say it's going to be a percent. Since we're here, percentage, it's going to represent a fraction. I only want one decimal place. All right, let's save that. Let's move it up here so we can, it's next to what we're looking at. Okay, male percent. Save. Okay, look at all this stuff that we don't need. All right, male percent. We need to calculate our field. So we're going to right click, calculate field. All right, male percent equals male divided by population. Okay. All right, ta-da! Here we go. We have our male percentage. So that was pretty easy. Let's now do, we want to calculate how many children are under 5 years old. Not just males, but males and females. So let's make another field. Age under 5. I'll go back and do those aliases later. Again, we're going to do float. Going to do percentage. And let's scoot it up here. You know what I'm going to do? I don't need the raw totals of male anymore, so I'm going to just uncheck that so I'm not looking at it. And while we'll go do that later. Save. Okay, here we go. I went too far. Age under 5. So if you want, you can do this twice. Doing one where you're adding the male and female, and then do another another column, another field, and do the division, but I am way too lazy for that. So we are going to do it in one step. We want to have male under 5 years plus female under 5 years, close parentheses, divided by population. Apply. Okay, so that's what we have. You can continue doing that. If you want, you can delete the raw data if you want your table to be smaller. It might be nice to have it around just in case you make a mistake. So I will move things to the end just so they're not right there up front. Let's see if there's anything else interesting that we want to look at. Not really. Yeah, so go forth and do all of your calculations. Whoops. Let's check out our symbology with that percentage that we did. That's always fun. All right, so we want to do unique values. We're going to see where all the men are. GIS join. Whoa. Oh, not unique values. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, ArcGIS. I know. I wanted graduated colors. Male percent. Check it out. Someplace has up to 69% male. Oh, it's up in Alaska. Anyway, so if you want to start checking out your percentages and what they look like, that's always really fun. So, alrighty everyone, I hope this was helpful and that you have fun with it, and yeah, go forth and map.